Today, I'm going to be letting you in on a little-known truth most men never figure out. Let's get right to it. Women's reaction to you losing interests says more about her than anything shuttled you while she was into you. Oozy attraction is fun to talk about when it's mutual. But the moment you start pulling back, the real psychologic's in. And trust me, the results aren't always pretty. We've been told for decades that women only want men who are consistent, attentive, and fully invested. But here's the controversial utility. The moment a woman feels like your interest is slipping, that same consistency she once claimed to love as suddenly isn't what she responds to anymore. Instead, you'll see instinct, ego, and emotions take over. And the way she reacts will tell you exactly where O stood in her life. Some women panic, some become cold, and some suddenly treat you like you're the one chasing. The switch can be confusing, especially if you're the kind of man who believes relationships are all about steady effort. But when she feels Urano, longer in her orbit, her reaction is pure psychology. Part survival instinct, part pride, and part testing your value. This video is not about guessing games or petty manipulation. It's about understanding the emotional patterns women rarely admit, even to themselves. If you've ever wondered why she suddenly texts more, goes distant, or becomes sadly unpredictable the moment you stop making her your top priority, this is where you'll get the answers. By the end, you won't just understand her reaction. You'll know how to read it like a book and decide whether it's worth reinvesting or walking away for good. She gets colder than ice. Overnight, not every woman responds to your loss of interest by chasing you. Some go in the opposite direction. They become cold, distant, and almost unrecognizable. One day, she's friendly, playful. The next, she's giving you short, flat replies or avoiding interaction altogether. Why does this happen? Often it's a defense mechanism, instead of trying to win your attention back. She sits down to protect her. Pride, if she senses you're pulling away. She might want to beat you to the punch. Emotionally checking out before you can hurt her. It's a way of saying you can't reject me because I've already rejected you. This shift can be shocking, especially if you thought things were going well. But here's the thing. Coldness is usually about control. By acting detached, she's trying to flip the emotional balance back in her favor. If she can make you feel uncertain, she gains the power she feels she's lost. The mistake many men make here is chasing harder. Trying to fix her mood that only makes you look desperate and confirms to her that she has you hooked. Instead, you have to stay composed and resist the urge to overcompensate. Let's say you've been going on dates and texting regularly, but you've recently been busy with work, so you reply, "Less fun." Suddenly, she stops laughing up to her jokes, avoids eye contact when you meet, and keeps her phone in her hand during conversations. That's not just her being busy. That's her putting up an emotional wall because she feels your interest has dropped. 2. She suddenly wants your attention again. The moment a woman senses your interest is slipping, something strange often happens. Some woman who was acting distant just last week suddenly starts looking for ways to get your attention again. She might text you more, laugh at your jokesa little louder, or even find excuses to around you. It's not always because suddenly realized how amazing you were. Often it's because your lack of interest triggers something deep in her psychology. See, women are wired to notice changes. In emotional energy, when you were giving her all your attention, she could relax knowing you were there. But when that energy disappears, it creates uncertainty. And uncertainty can make someone crave what they might be losing. It's not about love in that moment. It's about ego, validation, and the fear of no longer being desired. This is where a lot of men make a mistake. I think her sudden interest means she's back for good. In reality, she might just be reacting to the loss of attention, not to you as a person. Once she feels she has your interest again, she could easily slip back into being distant. Let's imagine you've been texting a woman every day for weeks. Starts replying less, giving one-word words, and taking hours to respond. So you stop chasing. No more daily texts. No more instant replies. Days later, she suddenly sends you a "Hey stranger" message, asks how you've been, and starts liking your social media posts. That's not magic. That is sudden realization that your attention isn't guaranteed anymore. 3. She starts flirting with other men. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the most common and controversial reactions is to start giving her attention to other men and making sure you notice it. Isn't always about genuine attraction. To Thosman, often it's about provoking a reaction from you. It's a mix of ego and emotional strategy. If she feels your attention slipping, she may try to remind you that she's still desirable, that she still has options. Flirting with others, whether it's in person, over text, or even on social media, becomes a way to signal you're the only one who wants me. And while she might not admit it, the underlying goal is often to make you second-guess pulling away. Men who've experienced this know how easily it can mess with your head. You start wondering if she's moving on, if she is replacing you, or if you made a mistake by showing less interest. This mental chaos is exactly what she's counting on. She'll get you to react emotionally. She'll know she's regained some control over the dynamic. Now, this can be frustrating, because you remember when her focus was solely on you. Seeing her give that energy to others feels like a shift in loyalty, even if nothing serious is happening. But here's the truth. Her behavior is less about those are men and more about testing. Will you get jealous? Will you chase harder? Will you compete for her attention? The ironic part is that for many women, this is a subconscious move. She might not even think of it as a calculate tactic. It's just her natural reaction to feeling less wanted. And for men, the Kalang is not letting it drag you into a game you never agreed to play. If you understand this pattern, you'll recognize it for what it is. Not proof she's truly moved on, but a sign she's trying to shift the power back in her favor. 4. She plays the victim card. Another powerful reaction you might see when a woman realizes Schleston Trust is her slipping into the role of the victim. Suddenly, she's acting like you've wronged her, as if you've abandoned her without reason. She might bring up moments where she claims you changed, accuse you of not caring an armor, or subtly make you feel guilty for pulling back. This isn't always about genuine emotional hurt. Sometimes it's about shifting the responsibility act onto you. If she can frame herself as the one who's been hurt, she can paint you as the bad guy and use that topple you back into giving more attention. It's a manipulation that works on a lot of men because, let's face it, many men hate the idea of being seen as heartless or uncaring. And here swear I have to be brutally honest with you. Too many men fall for this without questioning it. You hear her words, "you feel bad," and instantly you start explaining yourself, apologizing, and overcompensating. That's how you get trapped back in giving more than you should. It's not because the situation improved, but because you didn't want to look like the villain in her story. You need to wake up to the fact that not every emotional display is pure and uncalculated. Sometimes it's a strategy. And if you always rush in to save the day, just because she plays the victim, you're setting yourself up to be emotional like in trod. The advice here is simple. Don't make decisions based solely on wealth. Look at the overall pattern of her behavior. Has she been distant, uninterested, or dismissive before this? If so, the sudden victim act might just be a way to pull you back in without her having to actually change anything. Stay compassionate, but stay alert. She tests your patience on purpose. When a woman senses you've lost interest, sometimes she won't chase you directly, act like a victim. Instead, she'll push your buttons intentionally. She might take longer to reply, cancel plans at the last minute, bring up things she knows will annoy you, or act unpredictably just to see how you'll react. Why? Because she's measuring your breaking point. She wants to know I feel still stick around even when she's making things difficult. It's a form of testing your emotional investment without having to ask you directly. If you blow up or start begging for her attention, she knows you still care more than you're letting on. The dangerous part for men is neutralizing this as a test at all. Many guys just think she's being moody or she's stressed. But if these little irritations start happening right after you've pulled back, it's usually no random. It's calculated. She's trying to find out whether your injuries can be reignited, or whether you're really slipping away for good. And here's the truth. If you fail this test by reacting emotionally, she regains control of the situation. You'll find yourself explaining, apologizing, or making more effort to get things back to normal. Even though she's the one who created the tension in the first place. The smarter move, stay calm. Don't get drawn into petty arguments or a bias bait. Keep your composure, because your reaction is exactly what she's watching. If she sees that her tactics don't rattle you, she'll have to decide her to step up her behavior or risk closing you entirely. Remember, relationships shouldn't be constantrials. Someone's main way of keeping your attention is by frustrating. You unpropose? That's not connection. That's control 6. She pretends she doesn't care. One of the most frustrating reactions you'll see when a woman realizes you've lost interest is when she flips the script and starts acting like she couldn't care less about you. She might become unusually quiet, stop initiating conversations, or act overly focused on her own life, almost like she's broadcasting you don't matter tone anymore. On the surface, it might seem like she's genuinely moved on, but often, this is a front. It's a defensive shield designed to hide the fact that her withdrawal has actually affected her. By pretending to be unbothered, she's trying to reverse the emotional pressure back onto you. If you think she's indifferent, you might start questioning yourself. Did I imagine the connection? So was I wrong about her feelings? This tactic works especially on men who aren't used to women pulling away first. Your pride kicks in. You might feel the urge to prove she still cares. That's exactly what she's hoping for. That you'll break your calendar come chasing to confirm her importance in your life. The key thing to remember here is that emotional detachment isn't always real. It's meta methods just a performance. If her I don't care attitude shows up only after she senses your interest fading, it's probably an act. She's seeing if her withdrawal will trigger yours. This is where self-control matters. The more you respect your own boundaries and stay composed, the harder it becomes for her to maintain the act. Eventually, her real feelings will surface. And that's when you'll know whether she truly lost interest or was just trying to pull you back in without directly chasing. Don't get caught in the emotional ping-pong game. Real connections are built on honesty, not pretending. 7. She tries to pull you back in when all the other reactions don't seem to get results she wants. Some women will get straight for the big move, pulling you back in. Suddenly, she's warmer, sweeter, more affectionate. She might reminisce about your best moments together, compliment you more, or even make promises about how things will be different this time. On the surface, this feels great. It's the version you enjoyed in the beginning. And it's easy to believe. She's had a genuine exchange of heart. But you need to be careful here. This sudden burst of affection often isn't about long-term change. It's about regaining the emotional security she felt before you pulled away. This phase can be incredibly tempting for men because it feels like proof she still cares. But ask yourself, where was this energy before she sensed your interest fading? She's only stepping up now. It might not be about love. It might be about avoiding the discomfort of losing your attention. Here's the truth. If you allow yourself to be pulled back in without any real changes in behavior or respect, you're setting yourself up for a repeagical. The sweetness can fade as quickly as it appeared, and you'll be right back where you started. The best way to handle this is to stay grounded. Enjoy the positive energy, but don't ignore the patterns that got you here. Lasting interest is proven over time, not just when someone feels they might lose you. Here's the hard truth. Most men don't want to admit. Sometimes when a woman reacts strongly to your loss of interest, it's not because she truly loves you. It's because she hates the idea of losing the control your attention gave her. That's a bitter pill to swallow. But if you've been paying attention to the patterns we've talked about, you've probably seen it before. This is why I want you to think back to your own experiences. Has a woman ever suddenly changed her behavior the moment you started pulling away? Did she get sweeter, colder, or even try to make you jealous? Drop your story in the comments. I'll read them on. I'll reach out to talk about it. Your experience might even help. Another man who's going through the exact same thing right now, because here's the bottom line. Understanding her reaction is just about decoding women. It's about protecting your own self-respect. The more you recognize these patterns, the less likely you are to fall into emotional traps that keep you stuck. And in the next video, we're going even deeper into female psychology. The things women hope you never figure out. Trust me, you'll want to hear this one. Hit that subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when it's out. I'll see you.